getting Carson to till my little garden boxes. We bought this little attachment to go on the end of our weed eater to just kind of help us till. Since I don't have a big garden, I've just got these little garden boxes, so it helps us get the soil ready for me to plant, and it helps mix it up. I'm getting him to till the soil, and then I'm gonna pour. I bought some big bags of soil that I'm gonna pour in each box, and then I'm gonna get Carson to till it again, so kind of mix all that new soil in with my old soil. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I've been putting on my eggshells and stuff inside my planter boxes this winter to kind of give it a little compost to make my soil nice and rich, to have nutrients that it needs to grow my plants. Okay, so we've got these big bags of Miracle-Gro gardening soil, and it's made for in-ground outdoor use. So this is what I usually put in my little beds. Carson is gonna do it for me today. I've been having a lot of trouble with my shoulder lately, so he's gonna pour it in for me. Okay, so he's spreading this soil, and this is just gonna try to give my soil a little more nutrients. Soil has a lot of compost, a lot of different matter in it. Might have leaf matter in it, different things to mix to give different nutrients to the garden. That looks really good, and he's going to do this to the other 3 planters, and then we'll be ready to plant. So you can see what my original soil looks like. It was not quite as dark. It's got some little rocks and stuff in it, so it's probably pretty good soil like it is, but I like to add a bag of this. It's got a lot of compost in it. It's got a lot of little leaves and stuff. It's good to mix in with your soil. Plants need room to grow. If your soil is too dense, it's hard for them to spread their roots. So if you give them some soil that is more airy and has, little stuff in it, it helps them grow because they can spread their roots easier in the soil. It also helps with water. If your soil is too dense, your water doesn't really get to the roots very well, and this compost kind of helps wick the water so it's not so much water getting around your roots and rotting your roots out. Okay, so I'm going to be planting squash in this bed. I got 3 plants, and squash needs to be planted on a little hill. So I've kind of sectioned it off into 3 sections, and I'm just going to build up a little hill, a little mound, I guess. Make a little hole in it. And when you buy plants that are already, when you're not buying seeds, when you're buying plants, when you get them out, you need to kind of just work the roots a little bit so they'll know to spread. You want to water your plants in. So they'll have a lot of water right there. And we're just going to push the soil around it. We don't want to pack it too firm because we want it to know that it's able to grow, but we don't want to make it so loose that it falls over. So just kind of gently pack it a little bit, and it'll drain right. Okay, I'm going to do that for these other 2. Build the mound. Make a little spot in the middle. Work these roots a little bit. water it in. And then just mound around it. Okay, so we make another mound. A little hole. Exact same thing. Kind of work those roots a little bit. That looks good for a squash. And this is supposed to be yellow squash. Now, Carson has already planted a tomato plant down here, and he had 2 planted in here, and I accidentally ran over it with the tiller. So I'll have to get another tomato plant to go in here. I'm going to put 3 in here. We want to spread our plants out enough that they all have enough room to grow, because if they're too close, they don't grow very well. So this is a Roma tomato. You don't have to build a mound for tomatoes. So I'm just going to dig out a little hole here. And just like all other things that are in pots, you need to disturb that root system so it knows it can grow out. Okay. I'm also going to water this in. And just cover it up. I try to mound it so it won't be leaning anywhere. Again, don't pack it too hard because you want it to be able to drain the water. And I'll have to get another tomato plant to go down there. This is zucchini. It's also in the squash family, so it's going to need a mound. So I'm going to mound my dirt up. If it gets real dry and it hasn't rained in a while, try to water your plants early in the morning or late in the evening when the sun's not bearing down on them, because sometimes they'll kind of scorch or sunburn if you water them in the middle of the day. I'm not sure why rain doesn't seem to do that to them, but it may be the chemicals in the water from a hose pipe, I'm not sure. I'm going to be planting jalapeno peppers here. For the past couple of years I have planted 2 little pepper plants, and I've had more pepper than I even know what to do with, so I'm just going to plant 2 again this year. I don't usually plant just one, just because if one of them dies you'll still have another plant to go.
Why don't you rotate your plants?
I probably should.
Papa does, because he plants corn in one spot one year, then the next year he puts peas, because the peas put nitrogen in, and then the corn takes the nitrogen out.
Yeah, it needs the nitrogen to grow.
This year me and Papa planted the corn, last year where the peas were.
Alright, let's plant our flowers and we'll be done. Okay, I like like to plant flowers next to my garden so it'll attract the pollinators like bees and butterflies and little birds. So this year I found these, they're called rose. I thought they were really pretty. I usually plant zinnia seeds here and they grow well into November until we have our first frost most of the time. But I found these and I thought they were really pretty, so I bought these. You plant them the same way you do your others. Just kind of agitate that root. Put it in. And I'll come back through in a little while and water the flowers. These really pretty flowers, they're called a sunrise rose, and I just thought they were beautiful because of the different colors with the yellows and oranges and pinks and kind of a dark purpley look on some of them. So I planted them all down to help attract pollinators. So I've got my squash planted in mounds. I've got my tomatoes. I'll have to add another tomato later. I've got my zucchini in mounds. And I've got my jalapeno peppers. And this little garden will produce plenty for our family. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe you can get out and plant you a little garden too and see how fun it is to grow your own stuff.